I just finished reading this past week a brand new book. It's short, it's powerful. The title of it is Segregation, Federal Policy, or Racism by John Chodes. Now this thing is only 78 pages, but don't let that fool you because this thing packs a lot of information into those 78 pages. Now if you have questions about Reconstruction or the conditions of post-war South, then this book is good for you. What made me pick it up in the first place, not only were the questions I had about the KKK, the Union League, Reconstruction, the Freedmen's Bureau, and just the post-war federal policy in general, I had a conversation last week with a customer in my shop who asked me directly, what was the cause of the division down south? How did federal policy play a role in the South's racial and economic struggles post-war? Struggles that really echoed into the 20th century. This book tackles just that. It talks about it very clearly and efficiently and with solid documentation and historical sources. The main question Chodes asks is this: was segregation in the South the result of racism or federal policy? Now, he makes a strong case for the latter, but what I really liked about his approach is that he doesn't just try to prove his point, he digs deeper, he exposes the truths that are still actually relevant to our political and social life today. One part that really stood out for me was pertaining to the Freedmen's Bureau. Now, most folks have heard of this term before, but not many know the details about it and what it actually did. So Chodes sets the record straight in his book about what it actually was. It was heavily staffed by Union Leaguers, and the Union League was really the militant arm of the Republican Party at that time. It was comprised of carpetbaggers and scallywags, and these people often weaponized the black population to harass and persecute post-war Southerners. Chodes also argues that this organization was one of the main sparks behind the formation of the infamous Ku Klux Klan. And this lines up with what other historians have said too in the past, like Stanley Horn in his book. And he said, had there been no wanton oppression in the South, there would have been no Ku Klux Klan. Had there been no rule of the tyrannical, corrupt carpetbaggers or scallywags, there would have been no secret organization. Something else that really surprised me that I learned in this book, and something I bet most people are not aware of, is that today's Department of Education actually traces its roots back to the Freedmen's Bureau. The same ideas and philosophies that started there, ideas like the progressive push to reshape the Southern youth, these ideas eventually spread across the entire country. Reconstruction classrooms, Chodes explains, became the testing ground for the new Darwinian and psychological theories. Their goal was to replace faith in God with faith in the state, and this was built on the belief that man is nothing more than an animal and was not made in God's image. That chilling thought, though, especially when you look at the moral decay in today's society, in modern education, is striking because you can trace it all the way back to Reconstruction in the South. There's a whole lot more packed into this little book. Like the Department of Education, the Department of Agriculture was also established during this time period. And if you're like me, you're going to want to go down a lot of side quests, chasing down many of Chodes' references, his historical references. One of those that piqued my interest was Walter Fleming's works on Reconstruction. I actually sell a few of this old historian's works in my shop on ConfederateShop.com. I will most likely link those down below in the description box so you can check those out too. But bottom line, this was a very quick and engaging read. Like I said, 78 pages, very short. It answered a lot of my questions that I had about all those topics pertaining to Reconstruction. And so I would recommend to have this on your shelf. And if you want to get this book, I would also recommend getting a copy of Chodes' other book called Washington's KKK, the Union League During Southern Reconstruction. So you can pick both of these up this week. They'll be featured in my newsletter, and they're linked in the description box below, so check those out.